to Pure West Sport. Really good to have Kerry with us from France. You can watch that again. She's having a great time covering the Rugby World Cup, and it was brilliant to look back on that win for Wales against Australia last night. You can watch that video again on the Facebook page. But here we go with the final part now. And of course, starting this Friday, it's the Ryder Cup, one of my favourite sporting tournaments. And we're going to preview that now. Fraser and Gord, where do you rate the Ryder Cup? Just in terms of spectator sport, I love watching it across the weekend.
It's up there with the greatest spectator sports in the world, isn't it? We're lucky enough to go to France in 2018 when Europe actually regained it, I think, in Paris. It's just a superb tournament. I think the frenzy, the pressure, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it for fan engagement. It's the sort of tournament which gets non-golf people hooked for a weekend, isn't it?
It does. Incredible. It's the highlight of the golfing year, I would say. And Europe versus the USA it's a weekend not to be missed.
And let's hope the Solheim Cup has set the standard for a gripping weekend, because that was 14-14, but Europe obviously retaining it, and that was brilliant. We're going to talk to Kim Thomas, who's not actually on the video if you're watching on Facebook, but he is with us, and he's going to give us his thoughts ahead of the Ryder Cup in Rome. KT, how are you?
Very good, Ben. Thank you. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, we are all good and all very excited for Friday. What are your thoughts then ahead of the fixture in Rome? Luke Donald leads Europe, and would you make them very slight favourites?
I think just on balance, only because it's on European soil. That's the only thing that puts them in their favour, I think. I view it's I think quite interesting. I view the European Ryder Cup side a bit like the Wales rugby side. It's a changing of the guard, and we don't know what to expect. I mean, when I looked at the teams, I have three categories of player in the Ryder Cup: the solids, the backups, and the gambles. And I think we've got more gambles than they have, or poorer gambles, if you like. I was surprised that he picked Aberg in the side. I thought Meronk deserved it on winning in Europe and being part of a European feeling. Aberg is, Texas Tech and college man, but good luck to him. But look at their gambles. We're talking like Clark, Harmon, Homer, Burns. They're very strong gambles. Whereas look at ours: Højgaard, Aberg, Straka, McIntyre. I put him down as a gamble as well. I don't, they don't seem in the same league quite to me. So, but it's match play, and when they get fired up, McIntyre is a tough cookie. I watched him nearly win the amateur championship Royal Porthcawl a few years back. But then so did Meronk, did well there. But that's how I see it. And they've got more solids than we have, I think.
Tim, am I right in thinking Justin Rose was a captain's pick?
Yeah.
I mean, we remember we had a discussion 2 years ago, the last Ryder Cup when Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter were picked, and we did feel even beforehand it was a Ryder Cup too far for those two, despite everything they'd done, and so it proved. You have the same concern about Justin Rose this time around?
Slightly. I've got him as one of my backups. My solids I've got as McIlroy, Ram, Hovland, Fitzpatrick, and Fleetwood. And the backups I've got as Rose, Lowry, and Hatton, because they've got experience. They're not necessarily the very best players in the team, but I've got no worries about Rose, I don't think, because he's been there quite a few times. He's not past it. I don't think he's past it by any means. You've got to have backups which are solid,
I mentioned Wisconsin 2 years ago. They actually had to work live blog that for the Mirror. It's a pretty harrowing, depressing experience, to be honest. And the overriding feeling after that tournament was this: the age dynamic and the ability of this American team had the potential to dominate this tournament for years to come. Has what's happened in the golfing landscape in the last 2 years, and we haven't got time to go into all that, changed now the outlook of this tournament and in terms of who's favourites?
Yeah, I think it's opened it up. I think it would have been a tougher deal with the existing players that we had. The old guard, the Westwood, Poulter, McDowell, Stenson lot. That's all changed now. Yeah. And so you've got a whole new look. I think it's opened it up more. And Live Golf is probably we're probably thankful. It's one thing we can be thankful with Live Golf for opening it up, because it has, if you like, sounds very hard, but it's got dispensed with the old guard in the process, hasn't it?
Yeah, and probably robbed just America of a couple of players as well. Imagine Dustin Johnson would have been an automatic pick as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're missing people like Thomas Peters as well. People like him. I was surprised he went to live, but the dollar speaks.
100%. But what you're saying, Kim, in a word, that thank God Livers started and got rid of all the Yanks over there. and it's giving Europe a chance to win now. Is that what you're saying? In layman's terms, I'm saying.
Kind of, in a way, by reaction. But then they're strong men, Scheffler, Koepka, Schauffele, Spieth, Thomas,
it's all
Morikawa.
how you handle it on the day or during the course of the weekend, isn't it? Some players are great under pressure, others crack. Where do you see that sort of happening? Any cracks in the Americans, do you think? Which way can you see it going on after the first day and after the first day?
Well, look at the rookies. The American rookies, we've got Burns, Clark, Harmon, and Homer.
Yeah.
Unknown quantities to us in match play. Don't forget, this is match play, and everything really depends. This is on selection. Who will pair? Who will Luke Donald pair with whom?
Yes,
and that will be everything. I mean, it was tremendous in France, as Fraser knows. With Tommy Fleetwood and Molinari, inspired choices, and that will, in the end, that will decide it. Actually, that will decide it more, I think, than the actual caliber of the players, how they react with each other. That's my only worry with the European side, that they've got American-based players playing in it quite a lot. They're not used to playing so much with European players, whereas American teams, the American team, are used to playing with each other all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Go on.
So I was just going to ask, what sort of captain's Luke Donald going to be? Because I think the captain will always set the tone, and he's obviously come into the job a bit later than he would have been expecting. Kim, what's he going to be like as a skipper?
Well, he's not a Seve, and he's not a Lathabal or even a Woosnam. He's not your spirited, inspirational type of player. He's a cool dude, and he's a calculating dude. And I like that, and I think he's like McGinley in that respect.
Yeah, I was just about to make that comparison.
He's a cool, calculating man. I mean, I remember talking to him years ago when he had what's his name, the caddy on the bag. The preparation he would go into playing a tournament in America, and particularly the majors, was so calculated and meticulous that was the only way he could operate, and that's the way he'll be here. He'll be cool. He will not get flustered. He will not make rash decisions. So that's how I see it.
Kim, we all know. Oh, sorry, Ben.
No, go on, Fraser. Go on.
I was going to say, Kim, we all know the Ryder Cup's a different format, a different dynamic. Or we discuss that to death, I think, every time you're in the European America. But given the ability that's come over on that American team, I do find it staggering that we're literally talking 30 years now since they last won on European soil, and in that time, we've obviously won 3 times over there. Medina, Langer in 2004. I think Oak Hill's it in '95. What is it about home advantage for Europe that the Americans can't get past?
I think it's spirit. When we're at home, I think our spirit is stronger than when they're at home. I think it's a team spirit thing which the Europeans have, which the Americans can never have, because they're so not used to playing in team competitions in this sport, in golf.
Okay.
Where we are
psychological more as well, then, Kim, you're saying?
More so than actual ability sometimes.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the people who come up trumps, the Colsarts and Peters of this world, when they played, they weren't experienced in the Ryder Cup, but they played really well. But anyway, that's how I see it. The course, of course, the golf course will play a big part in this. We're looking forward to really nice weather, so it won't be favourable to us so much, I don't think, because it looks like it's going to be warm and pleasant to play in, which the Americans are more used to, if you like, than we are. I mean, sorry to be sort of cliched about
you mean
it, but that's
Storm Agnes isn't over that way?
No, certainly not.
That's a shame.
The golf course is very interesting towards the end of the round. I mean, some of these matches won't reach the 18th, but I think that 16th hole, you watch, guys, 303-yard par 4 16th, water on the right. It's going to be a match decider in so many ways. It's a bit like the 15th at Celtic Manor. Remember that?
Yes, very well.
Great hole. Great. One of the few great holes on that course, I might say.
Katie, you've whetted the appetite. You really haven't. We could carry this on into the evening.
Wait.
Adrian's done a great post as well. We might have to pick this up. Hopefully next Monday, we can get KT back on and we'll be reflecting on a year at Wim. Adrian making a good point about maybe combining the Solheim Cup and the Ryder Cup at the same venue. So you get double the golf. Thank you for that. We are going to have to leave it there, though, I'm afraid, because we are done. The Red Thread is coming up with Tim Cooper in just a few moments. Katie, thank you. Enjoy the Ryder Cup this weekend. Gordon and Fraser, thank you very much indeed for your company, and Tom Dyer as well in the studio. I know we've run over a little bit. We'll be back next Monday. It's the Red Thread next on Pure West.
Flying Star Pembrokeshire offers children 2 to 3 years